Scouts. Well, they could take up this proposal to change the policy on gay members as early as this week at a national board meeting. Our next guest claims the Scouts are being bullied by people he calls homosexual activists. Tony Perkins, president of the Family Research Council, joins us live from Baton Rouge. Tony, thanks for your time today. What do you think is at work here?
Well, I think, Shannon, what's before the Boy Scouts is a choice. There's a choice to maintain their honor and continue to protect the boys and their watch care, or, cave in and take a few pieces of corporate silver. I mean, that's exactly what's happening here, is you have these corporation elitists that are trying to force this political correct agenda upon the Boy Scouts that have been around for over 100 years, helping boys make this transition into manhood. And as Governor Perry said, sexuality has no place. Teaching that should be preserved to the parents. That's not something the Scouts should be engaged in.
How do you respond to those who say that the suggestion that somehow a gay Scoutmaster would be a threat to a child suggests that they would be, act inappropriately simply because of their sexual orientation, and they find that insulting?
Yeah, that's a good question, Shannon. Although there is a higher incidence of men who self-identify as homosexual who abuse children, not every homosexual is attracted to children. We've never said that. No one has ever said that. But let's be real. It doesn't pass the parent test. As a parent of 3 daughters, I wouldn't want my neighbor, who is a heterosexual, a man, camping out with my girls. So why would I want a man who is attracted to men camping out with my boy? And again, this was studied by the Boy Scouts for a 2-year process, and last July they came to the conclusion, based upon feedback of parents and Scout leaders, that they weren't going to change their long-standing policy. They were going to keep it in place. But now all of a sudden they're reconsidering it, and it's because the corporations have been threatening to withhold their money from the Boy Scouts if they do not buy into this political correct view that these corporations are operating under. And that's not the mission of the Boy Scouts. Shannon, very clearly what the Boy Scouts should answer in making this decision is what is in the best interest of the children.
We played a little bit of what Texas Governor Rick Perry had to say. Now, from the other side, the Boston Globe had an editorial that said basically, gay soldiers now serve openly in our armed forces. Gay marriage is legal in a number of states. They say Eagle Scouts have been returning their badges in protest, that the country has changed, and it's time for the Boy Scouts to change with that.
Well, first off, we're not talking about grown men. We're talking about children who are impressionable and cannot make informed decisions. That's why we treat them as children. And they're going to be in an environment where they are going to be secluded from their parents in many cases. And it's not just about Scout leaders. It's about other Scouts. Look, last fall, the Boy Scouts were forced to release about 15,000 pages from what they called their perversion files. They had identified between the 1960s and 1990s about 1,900 individuals who preyed upon children. Now, that was with the policy they had in place. They still had a problem and paid out millions of dollars. Now, you talk about a few Scouts turning in their badges. 69% of troops are chartered by faith-based organizations. What happens when these churches, and I've already talked to a number of these pastors whose churches support the Boy Scouts and charter troops in their church, say we can't do this anymore because this local option that they're pursuing is unworkable. This really is a time of choosing for the Boy Scouts. It's a choice between the boys that they are helping make this journey to manhood and some corporate dollars.
All right, we will see how it plays out. Tony Perkins of the Family Research Council, thank you.